So my view is that we are actually in the middle of three climate changes at once. We're in the middle of the change of the climate. We're in the middle of a change of the climate of globalization. And we're in the middle of a change of the climate of technology. That's really what these accelerations are all about. So as I thought about that, I thought, well, what do you want when the climate changes? You want two things. You want resilience. You need to be able to take a blow because stuff happens. And you want propulsion. You want to be able to move ahead. You want to be curled up in a ball, hiding under your bed because the climate's changing. So then I thought, who do I call about how you get resilience and propulsion when the climate changes? And then I realized I knew this woman. She's 3.8 billion years old. Her name was Mother Nature. And she dealt with more climate changes than anybody. So I called her up, made an appointment, and went out to see her. I sat down, I said, Mother Nature, how do you produce resilience and propulsion when the climate changes? She said, Tom, well, I have to tell you, everything I do unconsciously. But these are my strategies. First, she said, I'm incredibly adaptive. In my world, it's not the smartest who survive. It's not the strongest. It's the most adaptive who survive. And I do that through a mechanism. It's kind of brutal. I call it natural selection. Secondly, she said, I'm incredibly entrepreneurial. Wherever I see a blank space in nature, I fill it with a plant or animal perfectly adapted to that niche. I'm incredibly entrepreneurial. Third, she said, I'm incredibly diverse and pluralistic. Oh my God, she said to me, I'm the most pluralistic person you've ever met. I try 20 different species of everything, see who wins. And she told me something interesting. She said she noticed that her most diverse ecosystems were also her most resilient and propulsive ecosystems. She said, I'm incredibly sustainable. Nothing's wasted in my world. Everything is food. Eat food, poop seed. Eat food, poop seed. Nothing is wasted. Fifth, she said, I'm incredibly pragmatic, hybrid, and heterodox. No dogmatism for me. I'll try any different trees with any different soils, any different bees with any different flowers. I'm incredibly hybrid and heterodox in my thinking. And lastly, she said, I actually do believe in the laws of bankruptcy, she told me. I actually kill all my failures. I return them to the great manufacturer in the sky, and I take their energy to nourish my successes. So my argument is that the community, the company, the country that most closely mirrors Mother Nature's killer apps for producing resilience and propulsion when the climate changes is the one that will thrive in what I call this age of acceleration. And since we were in election year when I was writing the book, I decided to invent Mother Nature's political party. What if Mother Nature had been running against Trump and Clinton in 2016? What would her platform look like? Of course, this is just a proxy for my own politics, but never mind. So I won't go into it in detail, but basically the core principle is on some issues, Mother Nature would be out there on the far left with Bernie. Yeah, she would. She would actually be for universal health care. And strengthening our safety nets, because she would understand in this world you have to be incredibly mobile, and it's going to be too fast for a lot of people. Got to strengthen those safety nets and trampolines. But at the same time, she'd actually be out there on the right of the Wall Street Journal editorial page, because she would understand to pay for those safety nets, we have to get incredibly entrepreneurial. And that's why Mother Nature actually, she would have trumped this tax bill. She'd be for abolishing all corporate taxes, but replacing them with a carbon tax, a tax on sugar, a tax on bullets, and a small financial transaction tax. She would understand not only do we have to get entrepreneurial, but we have to do it in a way by taxing our bads, because we actually can't afford this much carbon anymore, and we cannot afford this much diabetes anymore. It's actually going to bankrupt us. So you'd use the tax system to hit two targets at once, become entrepreneurial, and start really disincentivizing our bads. Unfortunately, as you all know, if you're for stronger safety nets, you're never for radical entrepreneurship. And if you're for radical entrepreneurship, you're never for stronger safety nets. What would Mother Nature call that? Stupid. That's what she'd call it. She would tell you, you will never produce resilience and propulsion unless you're hybrid and heterodox and bring these two together. And that is why all our political parties are blowing up. Okay? One thinks it's alive because it's in power. The other one's sure it's dead. And that is same as happening in Europe. And that is because these parties were designed to answer a different set of questions. They were designed to answer questions of the New Deal, the early Industrial Revolution, the early IT revolution, and civil rights, both race and gender. And the question you have to answer today as a political party is, how do I get the most resilience and propulsion in the face of these three accelerations? And we are now living through the transition of these parties trying to move from one agenda to the other. Hopefully this bill will be the last gasp of the old order, and we'll start to actually design things much more for this age of acceleration.